Hey guys, and welcome to this video. We are today trying out the latest release from Tarte, which is their blush tape, which is their liquid blush. Then we have the Sculpt tape, which is the contour, and then we also have the glow tape, which is the highlighter. I am going to be trying out these one by one, which is why my face looks very ghosty right now. But don't worry, we will soon pep it up. So we have this beautiful natural looking makeup to get some life into this skin. But before I do that, each of these I do have to mention retail for about 45 Canadian dollars, which is costly for a 12 ml tube. But let us keep that aside to check out the actual product. Now I am ready with definitely my foundation and my concealer. So let's just go in with the liquid blush that we have here. Now this one's called the blush tape, and the shade that I have it in is called Peach, and the options that we had on the website were only 3, so you could choose from a pink shade, a peach shade, which is this one, and a berry shade. Like I was mentioning, the product comes in this tube which has a solid click cap, and that right there, and the applicator is actually a soft precision sponge, which when almost twisted can release the product that you want to apply to your skin. And the brand does suggest locking the tip every time after use, so we don't have the product continue to dispense from the applicator. I think this is a comfortable way to use packaging, since we do not have to use our fingers and can straight away apply the product right from this tip onto the face. So let's see if this actually works. So let's open this one up and see the color first and also the consistency. Now I'm definitely not going to be putting something on my face that is extremely pigmented, and that can be an issue with liquid blushes if they're difficult to move around. I normally go with my blush on the bridge of my nose as well, because I like that sunburned look. So I'm going to try and do that a little bit with this product. There we have it. I have all the product on my skin, and I'm going to start spreading this with a nice brush. Now, as we can see, the color pigment is not very strong, especially on my olive skin. So I definitely want to go ahead with another round of applying this on my skin. But if I just zoom you in for a quick minute, you will start to see that it's starting to stick to the natural texture of my skin. It doesn't blur it out, but it does accentuate it. And that is something that I'm worried about. So let's go in with another round of this. All right, so there I have it. I'm going to start spreading this again with my brush. I think it's a beautiful flush of peach, but it is not very pigmented like I was mentioning previously. It doesn't feel very sticky after you have spread it around with the brush, and the consistency is very light and easy to move around. It is also not very heavy to wear, so it doesn't feel like there's something heavy on your skin. It's lightweight, so I like that, and it does have a lot of shimmer. This is not something that I was looking forward to, especially in a liquid blush, because once I go in with my powder, I may not be able to simmer down that shimmer, and it may start to show up, especially for oily skin tones. Now, I definitely do not see the beautiful hue of peach come through, especially on my olive skin tone, so I am a little bit disappointed. Also, it does look very dewy, but it does accentuate all the texture on my cheeks, and that's something that I wasn't looking forward to. It's a very fresh shade, but not very pigmented, and a very light hint of color, which is why I'm not excited about it. Also, I have to mention it is a weightless formula, so you don't feel much when you apply it to your skin. So that is probably one of the positives. Now that we have the blush on and it looks okay, let's move on to the contour, and for that we have the Sculpt tape by Tarte, and this one is in the shade Warm Bronze. Now this one comes in 5 shades overall, all the way ranging from a soft bronze to a rich bronze for those deeper and richer skin tones. I am going to swatch this as well, and I probably will go straight away on my skin just to show you how the color looks, and we are going to be testing that out right now. Now, because I have a very big forehead, I normally prefer going in with a little bit more, especially towards the middle, in order to reduce the size of my forehead, and we're going to do just that. Alright, so I'm using the same brush that we used for the blush, but I'm going to start spreading that lightly. As you can see, this is a red toned shade, so this is a bronzer shade rather than a contour shade, and that is exactly what I normally prefer, as I am not one to sculpt out the contours of my face. And now that I've applied it, I do think that this one looks beautiful. I do think that the shade here that we have, which I believe is warm bronze, is beautiful. I was skeptical that this may come out a little bit spotty, especially when I'd applied it. It did create those little spots, but they're very easy to blend and it glides beautifully, especially with a nice brush. Now, the shade on olive skin tone, like I was mentioning, is beautiful. I think this is something that everybody would like. I definitely enjoy a little bit more red toned bronzer and little bit less cool toned contours. I do have to mention the SCULPT tape as well has a lot of shimmer, and actually it's almost like a glow, so I wouldn't need to go with a highlighter, but just because we have a highlighter as well, I will be trying out the glow tape as well. Now, just before I close up on the Double Duty Beauty SCULPT tape, I do want to mention that this one has a lot more pigment than the blushes that we saw, so I am happy with the SCULPT tape. Okay, let's move on to the next one that we have here, which is the glow tape, which is the highlighter by Tarte. Now, the one that I have is in the golden glow shade. It comes in two other shades of pearl glow, which is a bit lighter, and bronze glow, which is a brown shade of highlighter for deeper skin tones. Alright, so let's just try it on the skin. And since this one looks pretty pigmented, I am a little bit worried. So I will be going in with very light touches on my skin. I don't want the highlighter to actually show a lot more because my skin is oily and it starts to glow a lot more than I would expect. Alright, so I've applied 3 dots of it here. And then I'm gonna go in with 3 more dots on the other side, and we can start to spread this around. Alright, so there we have it. The glow is phenomenal, but it doesn't have shimmer. It definitely is a glow from within. I'm gonna start to spread the other side as well. And there we have it. I think it looks beautiful. I'm probably going to zoom you back in to show you exactly what's happening on my skin. Again, the texture is sticking to it. So unfortunately, it's starting to show off all the texture on my skin, which is something that I don't enjoy, which is a normal problem with anything that's a liquid blush, liquid highlighter, or liquid bronzer, which is why specifically for oily skin tones or people with a lot of texture, it's suggested that you go in with a powder that almost nullifies or at least blurs out your pores. Alright, so now that I have it a little bit zoomed in, I do feel like it almost gives a glass-like feel, which I love for my skin. It is a very sheer highlighter and it is radiant, so that's something that I always enjoy. The shade Golden Glow is beautiful for all its skin tones. It has a little bit of that warmth, which is something that we all love. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed checking out with me these Tarte tapes, and if you did, don't forget to smash that like button and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I will see you in my next video. Until then, you take care, love yourself, and stay happy. Bye.